Hey, what's going on, guys? I welcome you all back to another 10-minute super tune. And what I'm going to go over with this little project is how to polish the main and pinion gears of your bait casting reels. This also applies to spinners, and you might be asking, why bother doing this? Is it worth it? What happens if you do? And can you screw it up? Real quick and simple, yeah, you can screw it up. It's not that easy. If you do end up jamming the gear into the brush itself and it gobbles it up and sends it flying across the room, or if your Dremel falls on it and this portion, the collar, ends up hitting the gear, you could damage the gear. But other than that, it's pretty simple. In this video, I have my Dremel basically C-clamped, so I can kind of move around and move the camera. But you could, it's almost easier just to hold the Dremel. And in order to do this easily and simply, I recommend picking up one of these little bearing checking tools. They have different ones available. eBay has them for like $3. You don't have to spend 20 on the seller from Amazon. It's the same exact thing. It just takes 2 weeks to get here from China, and it's $2 or $3 last time I checked. They have two versions: a silver one, and then they have the gunmetal one. And the gunmetal one has the little numbers on it, so I guess that's kind of a plus. I don't know. I think it was cheaper too. So yeah, the reason why I like using that is because you can put the gear on it, and it's stepped, and it fits pretty close. So what you can do is just place your index finger below the gear like that, and as you're working your way around, it just takes all the, just makes it safer. And aside from that, what's the benefit? It'll make the reel feel smoother. And make sure before you start this project that you do properly clean your gears. You don't want to have any oil or grease still on the gears. This makes the Fabulustre do its job easier. And this is the white Fabulustre that I'm going to use here. It's designed to work with aluminum, brass, and steel. Brass. Just making sure. But yeah, and this is one of the easiest things you can do. Only takes a couple minutes, and all this stuff is really cheap. I'll put down in the description below where to get the wheels, where to get the Fabulustre, and if you don't already have a Dremel, you can go to Harbor Freight and get a high-speed rotary tool, or Home Depot, just buy a Dremel itself. Alright, so let's get started. How do we start off? Loading the main gear on my bearing checker. If you don't, you can just hold the gear, just be careful. I'm starting with the rotary brush, and I'm going to load it up. And I have my Dremel set to a medium-high speed. I'm just going to adjust the audio on my mic real quick so it's not super loud. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start off by loading the bristle brush with the polishing compound. That's real simple to do. Just turn on your Dremel and load up the brush. And I suggest wearing eye protection in case the bristles do want to fly out at you. This brush is starting to get torn up a little bit. It's starting to spray some bristles. You can probably see it's starting to get real shiny. I'm getting blasted by bristles right now. about done. And if you see, hold on a second, let's see if I can't sweep them all together. Give you an idea. You can see all the bristles flying out. It looks like my dog was shedding. And I don't have a dog. Alright, so that bristle brush is shot. That's why I buy them on eBay, they're cheap. Come on. And if you saw what it looked like before, it is very nice and shiny. And even with a micro module gear, it does make a significant difference. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and replace the brush. Alright, now with a fresh brush, we're going to go ahead and load it up once again. And now on the bearing checking tool, I have my pinion loaded on it. You can load it on a screwdriver or a piece of wire. You just go like this. Look at that. It's about as polished as you're ever going to get it. It's so polished it almost reflects like pure gold. Now, if you really want to go nuts and polish the inside of your main gear, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. But if you go to sell your reel, you say it's super tuned, chances are by the time they get it, if you've used it, it may not be as shiny and pretty, but inside the main gear sure will be. And what you can do now is put on this style, the cut brush, like this. See if we can get a better focus on it. Load it up. I'm going to slow it down a bit. Again, you can already see how much of a difference it made. Just keep in mind, generally speaking, that drag washer that's against the main gear isn't really moving. So doing this does absolutely nothing really. But it looks pretty. Pretty cool, huh? I usually polish it until you get that black coating, and then you can remove that black coating with the brush. Or just go back in with a little bit of soapy water. Again, look at this. And again, it is a very good idea to use safety goggles. Now this side of the main gear will benefit from a polish because it will spin against that little piece down below. And generally speaking, you may not be able to get it as shiny as what you had a minute on the top side. That's alright. It's not, like my finger's touching the wheel, so I mean the brush, and it's not doing any damage. So you don't have to be really fearful of it. Just make sure you don't have any jewelry on or necklaces, or make sure your hair's tied back. All you dudes in those man buns. Now, not all gears will take this, super shine, unfortunately. Alright, so we have the mirror polish on this side. And yeah, it's super polished now. It's not as mirror-like as the other side. There's more of a grain structure on the bottom. But it's close. Good enough for the girls I go out with. So yeah, so this is exactly how you polish your main gear and pinion set. Alright, now switching back to the round brush. I'm going to go ahead again and load it back up. We have our spool shaft. And again, this is for you crazy guys. But again, for this little polish, we're going for resale value. For whatever reason, guys get more money when they go to sell their reels. Again, this should not impact your casting performance at all whatsoever. Because this is the part that should not really impact the inside of the pinion. But what we will do is, for those of you that do use the spool tension adjustment knob, I'm going to go ahead and polish that end piece. You can see how it's now mirror polished. Man, this thing is throwing bristles. I grabbed the wrong... Oh shit, it's blowing up. Oh, that one sucked. I grabbed the wrong one. And you know what? I'll go ahead and use the finer bristle brush. I've had nothing but good luck with the coarse bristles, but... That's shine. And because we can. Yeah, because it's kind of fun. Alright. Will the fine bristle brush make any difference on the back of the main gear? I don't know. You guys don't noticing the difference between the white and the coarse, the fine and the coarse? Not really. And you know what? Yeah, I kind of do. I kind of do. But regardless, we have ourselves a polished main and pinion gear. Now all you gotta do is just again take soapy water and a paper towel and give it a good wipe down. Last thing you want to do is have any contaminants on the gear or gear surface. Mainly because when you apply any lubricant, you want it to be perfectly clear so that you get optimal lubrication adhesion. Alright, now that we're done with the Shimano Antares gear set, we're going to go ahead and bring in the gear set from the Steez. So, same thing. Going to start off by loading up the wheel. And let's get to it. Alright, now we'll bring in the main gear from the Abu. Now, generally speaking, these aluminum alloy gears don't get as shiny. But just because it doesn't have that mirror sparkly sheen like a brass gear would, they do get significantly smoother. That's what it originally was like. You can see it has almost like that glass-like shimmer to it. Alright, now we're going to go in with the Steez pinion. And one more time, we're going to go back over the Abu. And a quick once over on the Antares with the fine wheel. So while the surface finish may not be as dramatic as the Antares main gear, it definitely is a smoother surface. And you can look at the pinions. And you can definitely see how shiny these are. Alright, so that about sums it up. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them down below. This is kind of a little tweak and tune I used to do a long time ago, and I kind of stopped for whatever reason. And maybe it's because of YouTube that I started doing it again. I buzzed out quite a few reels in the last couple weeks, and I figured, you know what, why not shoot a video on it? Maybe this can benefit somebody. It's a real simple way to do it. It's not very expensive. Maybe 20 bucks is all you're going to have to spend in parts if you already have a Dremel. And get to it. Now I hope you guys are confident enough to go ahead and polish your gear sets on your own. Real simple. Take care, guys. Thanks again for watching, and don't forget, subscribe.